All right, well, here we are. Saturday, December 23rd, 2023. And I'm going to go ahead and flip this around. What's going on? Give everybody an update. It's been a wild week. And look at that. What a cool building. And we'd like to bring it back to life and do the Constitutional Convention here, despite the fact it's, I guess, condemned. Anyways, here we are. I'd like to do my little walk and talks up here. And here we are overlooking the place where it's all going down. Right down there is the county office, the county seat, the old courthouse downtown Sonora. And anyhow, I just want to give everybody an update on what's gone on this week. The last thing that happened on Thursday was a secret meeting.
Okay, you guys, on December 21st, 2023, there was a Board of Supervisor meeting, and it was a special agenda, and there was no 24-hour notice on this meeting that occurred on the 21st.
Good morning, everyone. This is a special agenda meeting for December 21st. It came up after we had what I thought was going to be our last meeting of the year.
And I'm going to show you all that. Also, the board chair, Catherine Haff, said that they didn't have enough notice. Okay, this information is from the website. It's called the HTTP header, and it shows that that there was no 24-hour notice, and that the notice was posted at 5:07 on 12/20 on 2023.
Everybody in this room has some interaction with public meetings, whether you're an employee providing support for them or doing presentations for it, whether you're a decision maker on a board, on the council, or on a board or commission, or whether you're a member of the public, right? Trying to interact with that boards and commissions and make sure you're getting yourself heard. This is public must be notified in advance of all the meetings on the matters that are going to be considered. And the public must be given access to the information and an opportunity to provide input to their decision makers. There's exceptions, we'll talk about those too, but they're limited, right? The whole idea of all of this is that public business should be conducted in public, and in order for that to happen, the public needs to get access.
All right, you guys. So they had the special meeting on the 21st right here, but on the 19th, December 19th, they had a meeting, right? So they knew about some of this information. They knew about all this before calling a special meeting on the 21st without 24-hour notice. And the reason they knew that is because if you go to the document that they signed, it says right here, 12/19/23. This was signed by by Kate Christie, attorney president, and this was on 12/20. This was signed by the HR risk management, and then these were signed on the 21st. However, the document itself for the agenda, if you go to the properties down here, document properties, it will show you that the document was created on 12/19. Right? So they knew about this on the 19th. So there you go.
Good morning, everyone. This is a special agenda meeting for December 21st. It came up after we had what I thought was going to be our last meeting of the year. Today, I want to thank the board for being nimble. This arose subsequent to our last agenda being published, and it was a matter of urgency, so I appreciate you all being here. Thank you, and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
New Year. I'm going to point out here is under the Brown Act, California's Brown Act, which is the open meeting law. To ensure that actions aren't done in secret, the public must be given the opportunity to address the board before or during the board's consideration of any item on the agenda. At a regular meeting, the public is also permitted to comment on matters not on the agenda. Now, the Board of Supervisors guide itself, discusses this for any public hearing. Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's a special one or a private meeting. They do have those, and they're still during a private or a closed session. They still have to provide an opportunity for the public to make a comment on any matter. Okay, and there's been censorship with that as well. But their own manual right here, it says, for any public hearing, the order of business shall be the following. And number 7 states a public comment right there. Okay. The role of the individual supervisors is to be engaged during the public comment, right? And it says here the board will be especially engaged during the public comment. Responses to public comment is limited to providing an access point for further discussion and or responding briefly to the statements made by the commenters. So there's a reason for these public comments. And we went in there to discuss the fact that they were editing the video. And we've been talking about the various corruption. John Flynn's been explaining different things with the most recent thing. And in fact, that meeting that was called was to do with the confidential clerks that are sitting on the board, right? And that wasn't the board clerk right then and there at that meeting on the 21st. That wasn't even a county clerk. So these are confidential clerks. And, that goes against their policy as well. Because I even believe here it talks about that. It does. It says that the clerk has to be the board clerk. Yeah, there you go. Clerk shall mean the clerk of the Board of Supervisors, not a clerk of another department. And so the whole thing is a sham.
All right, we're going to go directly to the Human Resources and Risk Management agenda, not for special meetings unless it's replacing a regular meeting. Would you please, no, we don't have public comment during this special meeting. And I'd like to remind you not to disrupt the meeting. I'd like to remind you once again to not disrupt this meeting.
Okay.
All right.
One thing I'm going to point out right here, I'm going to stop the video, is that last section, they edited the audio out, right? And you'll see when John Flynn speaks during the public comment, the audio is edited out.
Seeing none, I'll bring it to the public. If the public has comments on items 1 or 2 related to our human resources and risk management, now's the time. No, this is for specific comment on items 1 and 2. There is no oral communications on anything on this agenda. You'll have to address the board.
I get a Xerox copy of all her executive increase for the wages and lawyers. That's all public information.
That's all contained within the agenda items that are online.
So, okay, my name was John Flynn, your political watchdog, and I forgot to introduce myself. And your early 8:30 appointment, it's kind of fishy there. but I think it is. And good morning to County of Tuolumne Corporation. I'm John Flynn, your political watchdog. Well, thank you very much for your theatrics earlier.
I am Ty Robben, and it does say right here, public participation procedures. During the board meeting, citizens who wish to provide public comment will be invited to do so by the board chair. So there's a public
I just
process.
invited you for these 2 items.
Okay, well,
There's no oral communications on this agenda.
okay. All right, well, I don't have anything to say about that, so
Okay.
I'll speak next time. But
Thank
I
you.
do want to say that these videos are being edited, and
This is off topic.
on the record.
This is off topic. Okay, I'll bring it back to the board for any further comment, and if there is a motion to be made, I'll entertain the motion.
So moved. I'll second.
So it was moved by Supervisor Brandon and seconded by Supervisor Campbell.
And this is both items
For both items,
Correct.
correct? For both items.
for resolutions.
Yes, let's read that.
Adopting resolution 121-23 and adopting resolution 122-23. Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Both matters carry 5-0. And I believe that concludes our agenda for today. I want to thank the board for being nimble. This arose subsequent to our last agenda being published, and it was a matter of urgency, so I appreciate you all being here. Thank you and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
New Year.
You guys, what we're doing here is looking at the agenda. So on the agenda for the 21st, right, at 8:30, that's also a weird time. The meetings are always at 9 o'clock. So they did this at 8:30 to be sneaky without the 24-hour notice. It's a special agenda. It doesn't say special meeting. All right. But what it does say is you have public participation procedures. During the board meeting, citizens who wish to provide a public comment will be invited to do so by the board chair. So there you go. So it's in there, and then it proceeds to the Pledge of Allegiance, and then Human Resource Risk Management, number 1 and number 2, and the rest of the disclosures. But it did say that. So what I'm going to show you is in the past, the agendas have allowed for public comment, and even if they were worded like this, right, and they didn't have right in this area after the Pledge of Allegiance, it'll sometimes say public comment. Okay, in other meetings that had the same format, there was still a public comment period before, where the public can get up and comment on items not on the agenda. Okay, so you can talk about whatever you want, basically. And, in this case, it was limited to the agenda. However, they still have to hear things that pertain to them. And this meeting was unique because what was going on, it was a short notice, but they were talking about the confidential clerks. And this is something we brought up in the weeks before, just within that month. Within the last 2 weeks prior to this meeting, I discovered that they had 2 confidential clerks. And I'll show that information as well. And here they are giving themselves a raise, and they're hijacking the public defender who, was entitled to the raise. So they're basically, all the lawyers are giving themselves a raise, including Sarah Carrillo and the executive confidential clerks. So that's what's going on here. It's all very, very suspicious. And here we are. And you can see that they did not let me participate, and they harassed me and intimidate you. And they used the sheriff to remove me from a meeting before, when I got them to admit that they didn't have the bonds, which we already knew because they weren't filed with the clerk. And then the sheriff removed me from the meeting, and then they edited that whole part out, right? So the part where Anaiah Kirk admits that he never posted his bond is removed, along with me being removed. And then, it's proof positive that they're editing the videos, right? In addition to things that I've said and John Flynn. And that's a different topic. We'll get into that a little bit later on in the video. Okay, guys. The next special meeting would be December 12th, 2023, right here. And the agenda on this meeting, which is a special agenda, right? Same thing. Right here, after the Pledge of Allegiance, you have oral communications, 15 minutes. And it says the board values public participation and encourages the community members to take this time to provide comments on matters of county interest. This section is for comments on items not listed on the agenda.
Here. Good morning. Welcome to our special agenda Board of Supervisors meeting for December 12th. And I haven't asked anybody to help me say the Pledge of Allegiance, so if you'll join me in standing up and pledging the allegiance to the flag. Ready? Begin. So you may have noticed there's only 3 of us up here. We have somebody on vacation and somebody not feeling so hot, so we will do our best to take care of the business for the county today. Okay, so before we do oral communications, I just want to set the tone here and let you know that our board appreciates communication with the public. And this time, oral communications is a time when the public can discuss matters that are on your mind. And the Brown Act prohibits dialogue from the board members with the public during this time. It is our time to sit back and listen to what you have to say. At every meeting, I encourage all to be courteous and respectful in the boardroom. The First Amendment does allow members of the public to say what is on their minds, and it also allows people to say things that are not true. My expectation as your board chair this year is that the public conduct themselves not only respectfully, but truthfully. As most of you know, I also add an inspiration of kindness. I pick a quote from somebody either from the past or present, and today's quote comes from an author and personal growth advisor named Barbara DeAngelis, and here's what she had to say. Love and kindness are never wasted. They always make a difference. They bless the one who receives them, and they bless you, the giver. And with that, I'll invite you to come up to the podium if you have some oral communications for anything that is not on the current agenda.
Good morning, and I guess that's me. I'm John Flynn, your political watchdog. Take a bite out of crime. Woof, woof. And enough with that. I want to repeat what happened last Tuesday, that you have, that your government, you borrowed $10 million out of the resolution. You did a resolution on adopting 12221, adopting a performance of self-insurance pursuant to the Government Code Section 24156. You were not legally holding office. You never posted your bond. And when you took office, took your oath on January 4th of 2021, you were supposed to post bonding after you won the election, got your certificate from Debbie Bautista. You had 7 weeks to go get your bonding, and you didn't do that. And Anaiah, Kirk, on the afternoon of December 5th last week, he had a lively conversation with Ty Robben, and he admitted in the board, I heard it, Arthur Smith heard it, a few other people heard it, he was not bonded. He never had any bonding when he took his oath, so you're illegally holding office right now. It's illegal. And you gave me a quote at the end, which is illegal. I mean, it was legal for you to give that code, but you do have to There is a U.S. California Supreme Court ruling from 1972. You are supposed to be bonded before you take your oath. And when you took your oath and said the whole thing, you said you just defend the U.S. Constitution and the California Constitution. That would be 1850. When it came into the state, you had to be bonded then. You would still have to be bonded. And when you said, so help me God, you committed a felony right there because you weren't in office. And then you did the second resolution you did was at 1:30 on December 14th of 2021, you did redistricting of the maps, illegal because you were not legally holding office. You couldn't do that. So that's on that part. And that has to go back to the original maps of maybe 2010. And for the voting and everything. Now, also, I'd like to know why you have 2 confidential secretaries in Tuolumne County, and of the 58 counties in the state of California, Tuolumne County is the only one that has 2 confidential secretaries. Why this county? What's confidential? And this putting out a FOIA request for that public information request. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, what we have is I set up a Facebook group called Tuolumne County Scandals, and I've also got a YouTube channel. It's currently under my name, Ty Robben, and I put up some videos here and a bunch of posts on the Facebook group. And you can get to that Facebook group if you go, even if you're not a member of Facebook. It's a public group and you can get on it. So I've opened up a incognito window that shows you can get there. If you just Google it, Tuolumne County Scandals, I'll put a link in the video, and just check underneath in the information section, and all the information is posted in here. And I did a video about them not being bonded, the board, and that video looks like this.
All right, so here I am. I'm at this little spot right here by the water, and I'm going to get the story out. I'm going to have to tell it in segments. So what I'm going to do is tell the segment here with the bond issue. So part 1, the bonds. What's going on is the county's position is that I'm wrong and they're right. And there's a government code, and I'll show all the details here in a minute.
Morning, everyone. You hear me, am I on? Okay, thank you. I just wanted to address everybody in the flesh here. I just want to set the record straight. I do. My name is Ty Robben, for the record. And what happened is last Friday I came here and talked to the election department, Miss Debbie Batista, a wonderful lady and a great department. So I had a little bit of a rough ride at first, but everything was okay. She provided me with the information that I was looking for, which was a public record request. And Mr. Flynn was there with me and some other people. And what happened was I inquired about the surety bonds. Everybody has to post a surety bond. I didn't bring the codes with me today, but I will send that to you in writing. So the government code states that you have to post a performance bond, everybody. And there's no record of any bond being posted for anybody on this board or any other board since 1950. That's just the record, and that's the facts. And that being said, everything really that's been done in a county would be null and void, because the first 2 things an elected officer does, first thing is post that surety bond as a performance bond. The reason they do that is if there's corruption, they have skin in the game. So if you say embezzle money or whatever, you're going to take a hit, okay? And none of you or anybody else has ever posted that bond. And beyond that, it was said by Ms. Carrillo that you did pass a resolution 2 years ago in 2021 in December. However, because you never posted the bond, before you took your oath, that's the first thing, you got to post the bond. anything you did, including that, would be null and void. And then during the Board of Supervisors meeting on December 2021, I can't remember the date, I didn't bring all my notes. The board clerk was not here. And the other people that can be the clerk would be Debbie Batista or anybody in that group. And you put somebody else, I don't have her name, I didn't come with my notes, but there was somebody else in that place. And she was not a clerk. And then it was signed as if she was the executive clerk. Okay, all that's on the record, I'll send it. And therefore, that would be null and void. That was regarding the redistricting. Last year when you did the redistricting, right? Remember the census? And the lines are drawn for the redistricting for the voting areas. So during that meeting, Heather wasn't here. Somebody else sat in her position. What was her last name? O'Neill? Tracy William O'Neill from the airport. I'm not sure who that is, but nothing against you and nothing against the great people with Tuolumne County. I love everybody here, including the people on the board.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, you already spoke this morning. This is just open to the people who were not able to speak this morning.
But you cancel the meeting for a rebuttal, then you got.
I'm sorry, you've already spoken this morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not the way we do things here. I'm sorry. That's just not, excuse me, you're not at the podium and you're not allowed to be at the podium, so I'm sorry. We're going to get on. I have something for you, Mr. Robben. I have something for you, so, and it's the government code that you quote. And it says specifically, 24156, the Board of Supervisors of any county may, by resolution, adopt a program of self-insurance in lieu of bonds. And it goes on. So you were mistaken. You misunderstand. I am sorry. We can talk about this offline. We're going to continue our meeting.
I'm taking my neck out and put myself in this position.
I'm going to have to stop.
You can't. I have to rebut. You never had jurisdiction.
I'm going to have to stop this meeting if you don't.
Did you ever
step down?
Can any of you show your bonds? Okay. No. The answer is no.
We're stopping the meeting. I'm going to call for a break. Please follow me. I'm going to resume the meeting now. I'm closing public comment.
The county in 1850 when they started the state. Not 1950, but 1850. And from then on, all the way to now, until 2 years ago, they never had any bonds posted. So we went, me and John Flynn, and we went into the county recorder's office, and they had nothing for anybody. Not the sheriff, any elected board member, board of supervisors, on down. So, they don't have anything for anybody, including the not only elected officials, other officials, including like county council and certain unelected official jobs have.
All right, guys, this is the introduction right here. That's me. I'm Ty Robben. And basically, they didn't post any of their bonds, their surety bonds, according to the government codes. And I established the facts at the meeting on December 5th, 2023, at the Board of Supervisor meeting when I was thrown out. And the videotape recording of that is edited. And it's Debbie Batista, the county clerk, confirmed that. And really, we didn't need to go to the board to confirm it, but we did give them an opportunity to explain if they did post the bond, if maybe I'm making a mistake or something like that. And Anaiah Kirk did admit that he did not post the bond. That was edited out. And at the same time, no other board member admitted that they did when they had the chance when I was at the board meeting. I'll go ahead and put that in the post right here. So this does show that. And what they're trying to say, Sarah Carrillo, who is the county council, is that December 7th, 2021, they passed a resolution adopting a self-insurance plan pursuant to the government code 24156 in lieu of the bonds. So they knew that they had to do this back in 2021, December 7th. And here's an email from Debbie Batista, who is the county clerk. I believe she's also, it says down here, she's also the auditor and controller as well. And she responded to my email, basically right here, asking for the information. And she attached the board resolution. And the point with the board resolution is that you cannot put the cart before the horse here. And I even put that down here. That's a different resolution. This one is on the voting district boundaries. We'll get to that in a minute. There it is right there. You cannot put the cart before the horse because, the case law says right here, you need to post your bonds before you take office. It does say that right here. The law required any officer to take the oath of office and get bonds within the time required by law. If you fail to do so according to law and within the time period required by law, the office was vacant. So that's what's happening, is all their offices are vacant. We can come down here and take a look at their what they're relying on, which is right there. December 7th, 2021, they passed a resolution. And it says right here that this is their self-insured criminal insurance. And the problem I have is that they didn't hold office when they passed the resolution, because they never posted the bond. So the resolution is null and void. And because I'm attacking it within the timeliness within 2 years, and they're still the same board members right here, that it can be attacked. And I'll show you the case law on that as well. None of them signed it. I guess it's unanimous here. Okay, here we are. And I wanted to point out that the case law is such that the defendant, not the plaintiff right here, would have to, says it requires the defendant to establish the lawfulness of holding office. And it goes on to say that they would have to establish the burden, basically, of instead of me doing it, they would have to prove that they would do it. And their position already is that they've posted the resolution. They signed the resolution in December of 2021, and that was December 7th. However, they didn't hold office when they did that, right? Because they never posted the bond. And because I am attacking it, it is timely. And they basically, all of them don't hold office. That's what this says. And it says that the court has power to issue a judgment against a defendant for usurping, intruding to, or unlawfully holding any office. The defendant will have to pay costs and a fine and possibly some damages. And that's the gist of it, folks. That's what's going on. A requirement that they have to post what's called a faithful performance surety bond. And it's the same thing. It's just to make sure that they don't commit any malfeasance in office and that they got skin in the game. And they never had any of that. So whatever they did
in 2021 with the current board, all 4 or 5 members that are on that board, when they took office, before that was passed, they never held office because and I'll show you the case law, you cannot hold office until you swear the oath and post bond. It has to be done prior to entering office. Okay, so they're what's called de facto. So this is a de facto government, not de jure. De jure would be the actual, government, constitutional government. So we are in a de facto government. All right, I'm back. I'm on the back streets of Sonora here. Let's flip it that way so you can kind of get that idea where I'm at. Look at that beautiful house. And I wanted to let everyone know I didn't flip out my rocker.
The video could be found on YouTube and the Facebook group. And I wanted to break into this video because a lot has happened since the time I started recording this. It was Christmas and we went into New Year's. And public records requests and whatnot were sent out to everybody, including the governor. And it turns out Governor Newsom here, his department responded very quickly. And they did respond to a public records request, proof of a surety bond mandated by the government codes. And it does say, with respect to the first part, they did include a copy of the oath, which is not the full oath, and I'll get into that in a second. With respect to the latter parts of the request, seeking proof of a surety bond mandated by the government codes, there are no records in the possession of our office, so they don't have it. So I'll get into that in a second. Here's Governor Newsom's oath of office, and under Article 20, Section 3 of the California Constitution, this would only be the first paragraph, and I'll show you that here. Why not? We can do that, right? We'll go right here, and we'll type it in. California Constitution, Article 20, and pretty much Section 3. There it is. Any of them will work. And they stick this under the miscellaneous subjects. Look at that. So here's the first part, pretty much, that the governor and everyone else takes. But it's the second part, too. This is called the loyalty clause, where, your loyalty. You're loyal. It says, I do further swear and affirm that I do not advocate, nor am I a member of any party or organization, political or otherwise, that now advocates for the overthrow of the U.S. government and or state of California by force or violence or other unlawful means, that within 5 years immediately preceding the taking of this oath. So basically what they're saying is if you're, a member of the Communist Party or something like that, if you're not complying with the Constitution, and that's what we have here, right? We have total constitutional breakdowns on all fronts. They're not even putting up the bond, which is required. And I got that here. Just had that in one of my emails. I'm going to show everybody that you need to post that bond. Sure enough, here we go. There you go. The whole government code sections, and these go all the way back to 1850 when the state became a state, and later in 1873, I believe, in that time frame, they updated it, and these codes go back quite some time, but they explain basically that unless otherwise provided, every official bond shall be filed in the proper office within the time prescribed. This is public officers and employees, so it's not just the governor and the elected officials, it's also the upper level employees, like in the case of the county, it'd be county council, and I believe pretty much all the upper department directors, people like that. So and in the state as well. All right. So unless otherwise provided, official bonds of state officers prescribed by the law shall be approved by the governor or director of general services and filed and recorded with the Secretary of State. I've filed information there as well, but they don't have it. And every officer whom official bonds are filed basically, has to give that up to any person demanding copies. Okay, so it's a public record. And what they're saying is that the county and perhaps the state, they haven't actually said this yet, but in the purpose of Tuolumne County in 2021, in the year 2021, December 7th, the board, right, the Tuolumne County board issued a proclamation to create a government crime insurance policy or employee dishonesty insurance policy, including faithful performance. Okay, so this is so if these people steal money or embezzle or commit fraud, that rather than them paying for it, the taxpayers are paying for it. So this is totally unconstitutional, takings clause, because what else are we going to be paying for? Their auto insurance, right? We do pay for their health insurance. I understand that, but we pay for their homeowners insurance and other insurances. And, this is an insurance policy. The whole purpose of putting up the bond, let me start there, would be that if they stole money, that they would lose the money that they put up for the bond, which is, $100,000. So in order to put a bond up for the $100,000, that person would have had to maybe put up $1,000 or $10,000, right? So they would be out that money. The whole purpose is to prevent fraud. So these people committed fraud immediately before even, taking office, because they never posted their bonds prior to 2021. And they realized they needed to do this to basically cover their ass, and they've been caught. And because they've been caught, they are not officially in office. They're holding office unlawfully, and nobody's called them out until now. So Ty Robben has stood up and called these people out, and they are pissed off, to say it lightly, because they've lost their seats. I've claimed all their seats, including Gavin Newsom. So this is brand new information. It's the third day going into 2024, and stay tuned as this case takes flight. But I do want to show you all that and the case law. This is just a little bit. These are some notes, but there you go. 1872. It was called a political code back then. Political code, not the government code. So I've got all these old records going all the way back to the 1800s, and Tuolumne County has no records. All right. So if you have, by the way, the government crime insurance, right, dishonesty insurance policy that they are claiming to have, it would have had to have been filed with the clerk, right? Official bond needed to be approved by the presiding judge of the Superior Court. Okay. And that didn't happen. And not only that, none of the judges have ever posted bonds. So even, it's just, they cannot win. Everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong, right? Because even if they passed that, they didn't hold office. Let's say they did it and they did hold office. Well, they never had it approved by the presiding judge. And we checked the records, the clerk, the county clerk. There are no records. There's no records from 1850 of anything being properly recorded as far as bonds. The county itself isn't bonded, and the county is a corporation. Okay, so the corporation of the county of Tuolumne is null and void. And we'll do a whole other video on that. That's what's going on, folks. So here's all the information, the law, the government codes, the political codes, going all the way back to 1850. And if you start there and work your way up, that's what's going on. And it goes all the way to Gavin Newsom. There you go. Legal Affairs Department. responding. January 2nd, 2024. All right, so we're going to look at the next meeting, which is on December 5th. So if we go to the agenda and we bring that up, let's see how this one looks. Okay, so December 5th, you got a special agenda, discusses the public participation, and we got Pledge of Allegiance, other business, closed session. So this goes into a closed session, right? But during the period here before that closed session, there's a period where you do have public participation. And I'll show the video because I believe that they did do that. That comes the other special meeting on December 5th. We have a special meeting, as you can see. We'll go ahead and open up the agenda. The minutes. And the video.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the special agenda meeting for December 5th, 2023. And if you'll please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. So for this special meeting, we have two closed sessions, and I'm going to ask Heather, our board clerk, to please read both.
Item number 1, closed session conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation, authority government code section 54956.9D2, one case. Item 2, closed session conference with labor negotiators, agency representative Sarah Carrillo, county counsel, unrepresented employee, county administrator, authority government code section 54957.6.
Thank you. And at this time, I'll ask if there's any public comment on either closed session item. Seeing none, I'll ask our county counsel if we will be reporting out on either one of these.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and adjourn to the law library, and we'll be back in time for our regular meeting at 9. Thank you.
All right, well, here's the minutes. Well, here's the agenda first. The agenda for December 5th, special agenda, does talk about public participation procedures, Pledge of Allegiance, other business, and then a closed session. So there was a spot in here for the public participation, as you saw in the video, or will see in the video. And here's the minutes. The minutes reflect Pledge of Allegiance, public participation procedures. It's not really listed in here in the order, but there you go. Nobody spoke at this meeting, but it was listed like such. The next meeting after the 5th would be November 27th. Okay, so November 27th comes after the December 5th meeting. And the agenda has been opened up right here, and along with the minutes. And right there, November 27th, 8 a.m. Okay, so they started that one at 8 a.m. And that talks about the public participation, Pledge of Allegiance, county administration. Number 1, line item appointments. So that's how that agenda is configured. The minutes reflect that there was a public participation procedure. Members of the public were invited to attend the meeting on site at the location notated on the agenda. And we'll take a look at the video.
All right, welcome. I thought we were going to have just a closed session, but it looks like we do have one item. So before that, we will do public participation, and that means the public is welcome to come up to the podium and
Supervisor Haff. Is this
good. All right. So scrap that. And we will go directly to our first and only agenda item on the open agenda. And Heather, if you will please read that.
Consideration of approving an agreement with Nathan I. Nutting and Trey Smith for temporary indigent misdemeanor defense services in an amount not to exceed $80,000 for fiscal year 23-24 and $210,000 for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you.
Supervisor Haff, I will start up.
I don't know if your thing is on. Thank you.
Is that better?
Okay, guys, that was a really weird meeting. So the agenda showed that there should have been some sort of public comment, and at the beginning, the Supervisor Kathleen Haff attempted to do a public comment, and then the microphone is silent, so it's been edited out. That would be Sarah Carrillo, County Counsel, communicating with her, and then she comes back on and said, "Scratch that," and then they proceed to agenda item number 1, and there should have been a public comment on the agenda item. It's hard to say. Maybe nobody was in the room, but there was none. So there you go. Anomaly. And not only that, the fact that the audio is edited out. So there's proof positive there. And the glitches, too. The glitches are questionable. I don't know. That could have been my computer, but that's the kind of thing that's been going on. But the sound was definitely not my computer. Okay, the next special meeting would be November 2nd, 2023, special meeting. And I got the agenda open and the minutes, and we'll look at the video. So right here's the agenda. Okay, amended special agenda for November. Interesting, November what? 2nd. Yeah, that's right. November 2nd, 2023. Public participation. During the public meeting, citizens who wish to provide a public comment will be invited to do so by the board chair. And they allowed Zoom at this one. They've discontinued the Zoom meetings, which is another public meeting violation. So you cannot call in and you cannot use Zoom. You have to show up at these meetings and then wait. And at the last meeting, at the last series of meetings, we've had people coming in on the homeless, VA, veterans issue, and like a nurse had to come in, and she would be coming in from work in her clothes, her nurse clothes, and out of breath because she had to run from her car, and people have to go to these meetings and wait all day, and so on and so forth, and they're being denied their First Amendment right and the Brown Open Meeting Law, the Brown Act, to attend to these meetings via a telephone or a Zoom call. Like that, we used to be able to do that. So, anyways, the minutes reflect that there was a public participation, and let's take a look at the video of that meeting from November.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call the special meeting of the Board of Tuolumne County Board of Supervisors, November 2nd, 2023, to order. And Supervisor Kirk, could you lead us in the pledge? The flag is read out. Well, let's go ahead and proceed so we can. And if I could ask the board clerk to please read, we have just one item on the agenda today, which is a closed session item. So if you could please read that item.
Got it. Item number 1, closed session, conference with labor negotiators, Tracy Riggs, County Administrator, Roger Ruth, Assistant County Administrator, Liz Pearson, Deputy County Administrator, Sarah Carrillo, County Counsel, Christopher Schmidt, Deputy County Counsel, Karen McGettigan, Human Resources Director/Manager, and Shay Johnson, Liberty Cassidy Whitmore, Authority Government Code in 54957.6, all bargaining.
Thank you. I don't see any public in the room, and I'm not seeing them on Zoom, but I will call for public comment. Please. Under attendees,
Anything to say, Gabe?
And Haff did say she's on. She was speaking, but she couldn't hear us. So
Can you hear me now?
yep. Is that
Okay.
you?
Okay, I was about ready to get my other computer.
Okay, the next meeting would be October 10th, 2023, next special meeting. And I've gone ahead and got the agenda brought up, right? Special agenda, October 10th, 2023, public participation. So the meeting was a closed session, and the minutes reflect that there was a public participation procedure. And let's take a look at the video.
Everyone, it's October 10th, 2023, and we're here for a special board meeting. And Supervisor Campbell, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I would love to.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you. Okay. So during special board meetings, we do not have the original oral communications, but I kind of like to set the tone for the meeting in that I remind people that when we do have public comment on the one item that we have before us today, we're all respectful and also kind. And towards that end, I usually, every meeting, pick a quote from somebody either from history or current day. This particular quote comes from a current day person that you probably have heard of. Let's see if I can find it here. Her name is Maya Angelou, American poet and civil rights activist. And here's what she says. Continue. Continue to be who you are and how you are, to astonish a mean world with your acts of kindness. And with that, we'll go to our presentation that we have today. And Heather, would you please read that appointment?
1:30 p.m. presentation on the state of the opioid epidemic in Tuolumne County.
Do you have? Yes, you do.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? All right. I know I can get to the room, but the people online want to hear me too. So thank you. I'm Health Officer Kim Freeman. I'm here with Sheriff Bill Pooley to talk to you about some updates with the opioid epidemic over the course of the last year.
Okay, that was a weird meeting. They totally cut out all public comment. They didn't offer public comment even to the point that they were talking to. So that was very strange. I went back and watched that, and Supervisor Kathleen Haff opens the meeting, indicating that there's going to be an open, public comment period. And then she says her speech, but she never opens up the meeting for public comment. So I'm not really sure what to make of that. Okay, the next special meeting would be October 5th, 2023, right here, special meeting, right? So we've got the agenda pulled up. October 5th, special agenda. All right, public participation is mentioned, Pledge of Allegiance, appointment, so it's not talked about right there, but that's the configuration. The minutes reflect that there was a public participation. Yeah, members of the public were invited to attend the meeting on site. Let's take a look at the video and see how it went.
So welcome back again. Hopefully you caught that first part. This is a special meeting for October 5th. And we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And I have asked Arthur Schmidt, a member of the public, to come up and help lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, thank you. Now, for our special meetings, we generally do not have oral communications at the beginning of this meeting, and we won't today. But I do like to set the stage of expectations, and that is, as your board chair, we do expect civility and respect given to everybody in the room. And to that, I always add a touch of kindness. I think it helps set the tone. And I choose somebody from either history or current day that I pull a quote from on kindness. So today I have chosen Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He was an 18th century German philosopher, writer, and composer. And here's what he had to say. What wisdom can you find that is greater than kindness? And with that, we will open up to our first and only appointment. And Heather, would you please read that?
1:30 p.m. discussion and board direction regarding the fit test for county administrative departments at the historic Yaney Avenue Courthouse building.
All right.
Good afternoon.
Oh,
Tracy Riggs,
okay,
County
over here.
Administrator's Office. So we are thankful for the time today to meet with your board to go over these future plans for the historic courthouse. It is important, we know that. I'm also looking to the board for just to kind of give you an idea of what we're.
Okay, you guys, that was another weird meeting. Public comment was totally cut out, and you saw it for yourself right there. So you've seen a series of strange anomalies, right? Every meeting seems to be a little bit different. Wait till the next one. Okay, guys, the next meeting is September 25th, 2023, right? Special meeting. So let's take a look at the agenda. Take a look at the minutes. Okay, as you can see, September 25, 2023, starts at 9 a.m., special agenda, and public participation is listed. It's not under this Pledge of Allegiance, but it is listed up there. And under the minutes, it talks about it here, public participation procedures. And let's see how the video went.
Right. Good morning. We're here for a special board of supervisors meeting. It's September 25th, 2023, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you will all join me. Thank you. So we have one order of business today. Heather, would you please read our closed session item? Oh, we have two? Oh, we have two. Interesting. Okay. Yes, we can read them both. Go ahead. Thank you.
Item number 1, closed session conference with labor negotiators Tracy Riggs, County Administrator, and Karen McGettigan, Human Resources and Risk Management Director, Authority Government Code Section 54957.6, all bargaining units. And appointment, 9 a.m., closed session, public employee appointment, Authority Government Code Section 54957B1, Animal Control Director.
All right, and I understand we don't expect to report out on either, so we'll move on to our closed session. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, we need public comment. Sorry. Anybody in the room? Seeing none, we'll convene to closed session. Thank you very much.
Okay, that was another weird meeting, and that was a meeting that John Flynn attempted to speak at, right? And he went in there and was told that he couldn't speak, and he's going to explain his side of the story. But you've seen a series of every meeting is different, these special meetings, on how they handle the public comments. So I'm not crazy.
All right, we have John Flynn, and he is going to explain what happened? Starting.
Yeah. Okay, back on September 19th, I spoke then was bringing up some complaints against the board, and you can check the videos. They're probably already been tampered with. But I went to, on the night, I was being distracted by Sarah Carrillo, not Sarah Carrillo, Kathleen Haff, and I had mentioned that Christopher Smith was having a sexual affair with Judge Laura Craig, case number 64848, and trying to get her to dismiss the case, which is bribery. You can't do that on her end. That's judicial canon violations, and that's also violations with the state bar with Christopher Smith for California. And then on September, and Kathleen Haff kept saying, no, shaking her head, and she distracted me, and I got distracted by it. So I finished up and left. Then on the following Monday, that was September 25th, I came back, I got all dressed up again. They were having a special board meeting, and I went in the front doors, and there was Marie Franks and another county employee, and they held the elevator door open for me. And I got in there, and I said, are you going to the fourth? And they pushed the button. Are you going to the fourth floor? And I said, yes. Are you going to speak at the Board of Supervisors meeting? Yes. You're going to make public comment? Yes. And so I get up there, I let them go out. We get to the fourth floor. I let them leave first, Marie Franks and her county coworker, and I went to the right. Then I went hobbled over to the front doors, and I got the minutes, and I went up to Heather, and Heather said, oh, there's no meeting here. Oh, no, I know that. You're having your labor negotiations, and I'm just here to give public comment. She said, no, there is no public comment. And I said, oh, so I just folded up a piece of paper, put it back in my dress shirt, turned around and left. And I took her word for it. I had no dreamed on me she would lie to me like that. But
Okay.
she did.
Thank you.
Violations and consequences. There's some serious repercussions, appropriately so, for folks who conduct the public's business out of the public's view. There are civil remedies that can be brought by any interested person, actually, or by the district attorney. It can result in the invalidation of the action, that was taken. It could void past acts. You can get injunctive or declaratory relief to prevent future violations. There's procedural requirements that allow you to handle things in a certain way with notice and an opportunity to correct. But if you fight it as a public agency and you lose, your plaintiff also gets attorney's fees, even if you just lose a little bit. So not to be taken lightly, and there's serious remedies that can occur. More serious still, of course, is a member who's responsible for violating the Brown Act may be subject to a misdemeanor, a criminal penalty even, if there is a specific intent to deprive the public of information. Usually this is an intent crime. A criminal aspect of this is very, very rare, but it's possible. But I think the last one is really the most important one, right? And we've been talking about this since the beginning about this with ethics training is the worst part about this is the loss of public trust, right? We rely on public support, public input, public volunteers, on boards and commissions in order to inform us about, in my case, information that helps me advise the council in decision maker or other boards and commissions, and the other boards and commissions instance, getting information and having a relationship with the public so that you can use that in order to make the best possible decision. When you lose the public trust by not inviting them in and in violating that, it's really going to be hard to get city business done. So the consequences for me are the first couple, but the third one I think we'd all agree is probably the most significant.
Also, where I got cut off 2 weeks ago, California doesn't have well standing to party to terminate, and your lawyers are meeting with Judge Siebert. One of your lawyers had an affair with her to shut down Superior Court case number 6. And this is all protected speech, and it's really out there. All right, and 64848, and you also have So anyway, I would like you to reinstate sound, and that's about it. She threw me off when you interrupted. All right, thank you.
Anybody else? All right, we will close oral communications and move on to staff reports. Do we have any?
Hi, this is John Flynn. I'm from live in Tuolumne County government. I was at the September 19th board meeting. It was edited by the someone edited the video, so there's about 8, 9, 10, 11 words missing from what I said. It's all garbled up. I did not say those necessary words, but it was cut and sliced horribly.
On December 19th, there was a meeting, and at the end of the meeting, there was a bunch of people that were upset about the homeless being put into their neighborhoods, and I decided to run over there, literally run over there, and I was out of breath when I got to the meeting, but I had this to say, and I still believe it's a good idea that we could use the old jail and even the old hospital temporarily, and money could come in from waste management over the waste management scandal by what they did, overcharging the customers in Tuolumne County for years, and everybody in the county would get a refund. But there should also be what I call the waste management scandal super fund, and money from that could be used to help the community, and we would have the best roads in California. We would take care of these issues like homelessness immediately, and we'd have tons of money from waste management. Okay. And everybody in the county should be getting a refund, and we should be a prosperous county. But the Board of Supervisors is opposed to that, and they want to treat me like a criminal and violate my rights, including these violations of my First Amendment coming to these meetings. You will see a fellow at the end of this, and be prepared. I'm coming in there, and you're not allowed to shut me down or John Flynn and use the tactics that you're using, shutting us down on Zoom calls and calling in and intimidating us with civil harassment orders and criminal threats. And not only that, threats. Jaron Brandon has, used threats against people. Now, I do appreciate that he interacts with me in some respects, but I do understand he's made threats towards other people. And, dialogue is good. Dialogue is good. I don't want to put him down because I'm open to the dialogue. But he also has to understand that he's subject to a higher level of criticism being a political official under Times v. Sullivan, New York Times v. Sullivan. You might want to look that up and read that, because, it's our duty as citizens to be critical of you as a politician and what you're doing with our tax money and who's paying you. And if we're coming to you with our complaints and those complaints are being covered up, and then we're being retaliated against with the government, including, using the entire force of the government, the sheriff, the DA, the courts, right? You get the picture. So thank you so much for listening, and enjoy the show.
Anyone else? All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment.
I didn't plan on being here today. It's raining, but I've been watching you guys, and I'm going to speak on the homeless issue. Hang on. Give me 1 sec. I got to catch my breath. Just ran over here. All right, I got an idea on the homeless. I've been putting this out to everybody, and it's a great idea. You guys could go have a meeting about the other issues, the legal issues. I just literally ran over here. What's going on is my idea would be with the waste management scandal, and millions of dollars are involved in this, folks. What would that be?
We're talking about 21,
Exactly.
22,
We're going to solve
23.
We're going to solve the homeless crisis right now. And my idea would be to take all the money. There's millions of dollars that could be recouped. Everybody in this county deserves a refund from Waste Management Incorporated today. My proposal would be to solve the homeless problem immediately. And these people, they don't want it in their neighborhoods. So that's over. And I had an idea with the old jail temporarily could be used. Okay? You got a kitchen in there, and these guys could set up a place to live temporarily, but with the amount of money coming in from waste management on any kind of a proposed settlement would be a good thing, and the money could be used to help take care of the homeless problem right here in Tuolumne County. Okay, and I sent that out to everybody. Everybody's gotten phone calls from me. I've called every board member personally and left these ideas to solve these problems, and I haven't heard back from anybody. So I'm going out to the community. I invite everybody to go to my Facebook website called Tuolumne County Scandals. I just started it last night. And I'm putting my side of the story about the waste management scandal up there and all the money corruption and everything that I found in this community. And this board right here, I don't know if it's you guys. That's why I called every one of you, because I don't want to make accusations that I can't back up. But I could back up my claims on money laundering and child trafficking. It's not pedophilia necessarily. In that court right there, under Judge Kevin Siebert and Philip A. Pimentel. Philip A. Pimentel did not have his law license, was not active, okay? And he was a family law commissioner. He cannot be a family law commissioner.
Chair, this gentleman's not addressing
You're
the subject
going
material.
off on a tangents that don't really have to do with.
It all ties into this because the money, it all started from waste management. I'm a righteous guy and I complain about overcharging the customers. Like I said, anybody in this room that wants to debate this, come speak to me. I'll be up and down these streets doing my daily videos. Everybody has either paid $20,
Thank you.
$50, or $100. There's an overcharging scandal going on, and the people in this community should get a refund.
Your time is up.
From waste management. Thanks very much.
Anybody else want to speak on items 21, 22, or 23 having to do with these properties? Seeing none, bring it back to the board.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
And I just wanted to speak to, I think the point that Supervisor Campbell and we all see up here is these are for public comments on these items, and I think we all recognize that and support making sure that we keep it relevant to the topic, because otherwise
gets out of hand.
It gets out of hand, and it really detracts from the conversation, and it's hard because most people are very respectful of the space, and we're gonna have to deal with that.
So I would ask which board member is willing.
Respectful of the space, and we're gonna have to deal with that. Respectful of the space, and we're gonna have to deal with that. Respectful of the space, and we're gonna deal with that.
So
respectful of the space, and we're gonna have to deal with that.
So
respectful of the space, and we're gonna have to deal with that.
So thank you for watching the video. As you can see, the board of directors and Supervisor Kathleen Haff, who was the chair for 2023, and her legal counsel, Sarah Jean Carrillo, have no clue what they're doing. These were all special meetings that I showcased. And at any given time, you can go in there and expect to be able to comment, do a public comment. You have to go in person now. You can't call in. You can't do it by Zoom. So if you go in there, right, expecting your ability to make a public comment, it's like a casino. It's worse than a casino, your odds. That's not what the public meeting is all about. That's not the spirit of the public meeting law, the Brown Act. And it's a violation of the First Amendment, because the people are supposed to come in there and voice their concerns to the Board of Supervisors, who are supposed to listen. And that's right in their own rules that I showcased. So that's what we have. And I'm going to leave this video with a guy named Simon Campbell.
Pensbury School District resident, Pensbury School District taxpayer. I'm also a former member of the Governing Board of Directors, 2009 to 2013. It's nice to see the old faces. I'm here to speak today. I believe, Gary, you said it was item KKK in the agenda book. Well, isn't that just a perfect summation of what it is I'm here to talk about? KKK. your proposed new school board policy, seeking once again to limit the constitutionally protected speech of American citizens. Now, when I sat on this school board, I believe some of you old-timers might remember this. A union guy spoke at public comment for 5 minutes and ripped me a new one. He called me the bastard child of Margaret Thatcher. And I sat there and I said to myself, okay, fair enough. Welcome to America. He considers me a bastard because I'm in the government. His logic is sound. Now, what happened was the superintendent and the school solicitor at the time freaked out and they didn't put the tape online the next day. And I called them up and I said, get the tape online now before we get sued for censorship. I yelled at the solicitor and I asked him what law school he went to, because it was clearly constitutionally protected rhetorical hyperbole. I can cite the case if you'd like. And I said to Paul Long, the superintendent at the time, don't ever cut the tape again, Paul. And by the way, bastard child of Margaret Thatcher, I took it as a compliment. Now, you snowflakes apparently have a bigger problem with public comment. It seems to me that you think you can supersede the United States Constitution. Well, I've got news for you, School Board President Benito Mussolini. Your power does not supersede that of the U.S. Constitution and the First Amendment rights of the citizens of this great nation. Let's be very, very clear who has the power.
Mr.
It is
Campbell,
not government policy. Do not warn me or do not interrupt my time.
That if you
interrupt my
make
time,
personal insults like that again, or if you personally direct your comments, you will be asked to step away from the podium.
I'm going to quote to you, solicitor.
Make your comments,
I'm
but
quoting,
do not
just
do
a minute, do
name
not
calling
talk
like
over
you
me.
just did.
This is my comment, not your comment. I'm quoting to you now from the United States Supreme Court 1964 case, New York Times versus Sullivan. This is constitutional case law in this country, and I'm quoting you from the U.S. Supreme Court. The judges wrote that this nation is founded on the, quote, profound national commitment to the principle that debate on public issues shall be uninhibited, robust, and wide open, and that it may well include vehement, caustic, and sometimes unpleasantly sharp attacks on government and public officials. That's constitutional case law in this nation. I don't have to be nice to you. Nobody behind me has to be nice to you. If you don't like living in the United States of America, then you can all move to Russia, Cuba, or China. This is the First Amendment. And I will caution you, solicitor. There is a video camera to my left. If you edit this tape, then you're going to have a big legal problem on your hands, because my right to critique your fascism, which is what this is constitutionally protected. There are emails, public record emails, in which the Director of Equity is lobbying and advocating for public comment to be censored in this school district. And you know what? Lobbying for it, advocating for it. We've got the school board president saying she'll do better at hitting the mute button in blatant violation of the Constitution for her lobbying and her advocacy of unconstitutional censorship. I want you, the school board, to terminate the employment of Dr. Charissa Gibson with immediate effect. And after you've terminated her employment, I want all of you to tender your resignations for hating on this country. We have a God-given constitutional right to critique you, and we can speak in any lawful tone that we see fit. And don't go looking around, Benito, because this is the United States of America. You have a good... one more thing. I'm going to make a verbal request right now for an unedited copy of the tape. So if any of you delete it, you're going to have a big legal problem. Good night.
And the players above them are getting greased all off of your back. So I've about had it. I'll also end on a positive note. I got this incredible email forwarded from a friend. There is a gentleman named Ty running for District 1 in my county. And his email is off the charts. What we need are people like Ty, because he's raw and he's real. So he writes, "Greetings." And he sends this to, it looks like, almost everybody involved in county politics, okay? I just filed some paperwork in the courts. See attachment. So he's filed something. I have not had a chance to read the whole thing yet, but this is great. I'll be filing to run for District 1 Board of Supervisors. I'll be running for David's spot on an anti-corruption platform. Number 1, the corruption ends, including the Waste Management Inc. That's what he calls California. The county council will be replaced. Zoom calls reinstated and public made welcome to meetings. Please see attachment. So I think he got kicked out of a meeting or something because he was calling some things out. 2, roads will be repaired this winter without any BS. 3, I understand Bill Gates is terraforming the forest and cutting down trees to bury in the desert. That BS ends immediately. 4, I am aware of a geoengineering contract and the chemtrails over this county. End now, regardless if I get elected. And 5, the climate action plan will be abolished. A proclamation that no fireplace ban will ever occur in this county will be made. We will have wood burning stove Pride Month to celebrate and include the diversity of wood, oak, pine, cedar, etc. And how all the trees get along in the forest, and we as humans can learn from them. Trees. Leave nature alone. Any affiliation with the Rockefeller folks ends. Same with any United Nations, World Economic Forum, and any similar organizations. Then he goes on to put screenshot after screenshot. The Rockefeller Foundation funding HUD through the National Disaster Resilience Program. Number 6, there will be a pay cut. He then pastes all of the salaries for Tuolumne County employees. And the salaries are pretty spectacular, I'll just say. This man is my hero. We need people like Ty to be bold and outspoken, and so he has my support. I don't know who else is running for District 1, but his name is Ty Robben. And Ty, you are my hero, and your email is exactly what I needed to be able to sleep tonight. So thank you. Everyone get out there, call out the bullshit. We need raw and real and direct. We need all of your voices. And if you like my videos, please share because I'm not getting any reach. Have a great night, everyone.